Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, folks, wherever you are. Welcome to N1 Racing and our live coverage of Season 4 of the G-Force Racing League. My name is Mark. If you've never been with us before, welcome. It's good to have you with us. And if you're coming back to N1 Racing, it's good to have you here. Hey, Daddy Tonk in the Twitch chat. Very delighted for you to join me on the Twitch channel. Have a great race ahead. We look forward to you going well and picking up some more points. Now, I think I'm going to be on my own tonight, so I will actually, well, I'm just getting set up here. I'm going to open up a Discord VC for my fellow commentators in case anyone comes along to join me. You never know, we may get some familiar faces come and join us as the racing gets underway. So, first things first, I missed last week, which was Mexico. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. My thanks to Monty for giving it a go to try and stream that, but sadly the technology let him down. So we don't have a replay from Mexico, but I will talk you through the results of that in a few moments' time in a very special way. But when we were last here on N1 Racing, we had round 3, which was from Austria. Sorry, round 2, I should say, from Austria, where we had our first sprint round. So Pankadelek won the sprint race. M&D Hammer, new to the G-Force Racing League, came home in second, and then the two McLarens, third and fourth. Jaguar Paul picked up 4 points, then come the Aston Martin boys in 6th and 7th. And SS7 picked up 8th place, the last point scoring place from the sprint in Austria. And then we rapidly went into our next round, the feature race, but GoatGhosty was back on form. Maximum points from them in the feature race in Austria. Fastest lap of 105.818, no one could get anywhere near them, but Mac T gave it a decent go, and it was brilliant to have Mac T back with us again. Picking up 18 points in a very, very good day for McLaren. DSFS came home in third after a pretty disappointing sprint race by their normal standards. They came home in third. Pankadelek in fourth, continuing to pick up some points. Then M&D Hammer. Very good first outing for them in GFR. SS7 there in sixth, continuing their run of scoring in every single round of GFR since season 1. Obo back with us. Picks up 6 points with Aston Martin. Then Jaguar Paul also picking up some more points. And then we had Dorling back, also picking up 2 points for them. And Monty did get on the score sheet, finishing in 10th. Sadly, Daddy Tonk, Matthew and Ace Pilot unable to score in the feature race in Austria. Now, as I mentioned, I missed last week, sadly having to be away for work, but the boys did still race around Mexico. The results are here. Now, what I normally do at this point is talk you through the results from Mexico and maybe have a look forward to the next race. But rather than me do that, we've got a very special feature this week, courtesy of Matt Dorling, or M. Dorling, as you'll know him in our league. Matt's taken on the role of producing what we call the G-Force Racing Insights. So Matt gives us a look back at the last race and also a look forward to the next race and a focus on a handful of drivers from the league so we can get to know them a little bit better. And what I thought we'd do as a neat little feature this week is actually use Matt's words and add a little bit of colour to them so you can get to know these drivers a little bit better and hear Matt's thoughts on how everyone's going to do in the next round here in Hungary. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Dorling's GFR Digest.
Dorling's GFR Digest.
After some high-altitude racing at Mexico last week, G-Force Racing now returns to Europe around the twists and turns of Hungary, a track that has no room for error and allows our drivers no rest.
GoatGhosty!
GoatGhosty himself declared the Mexico Grand Prix as a track he did not favour. However, a P3 in last week's race shows that even on his weakest tracks, Goat can still put in a very strong performance to keep his championship challenge going. Goat has excelled at more traditional circuits, so let's see how he fares at the next round of GFR. Pankadelek has hit the ground running at GFR, showing strong, consistent pace. I cannot see Pankadelek within the top 10 of the Mexico Grand Prix, so we can assume they had an off-form race or were unable to attend. Don't count them out for Hungary though. Could they challenge the top spots this week? Let's wait and see. Our pole sitter and race winner from last week's Mexico Grand Prix, Tesaves, or Jakub as he is now known on screen, has shown he is a force to be reckoned with in Season 4 of GFR. Can Jakub go for another pole position in Hungary? Mac T is a strong bet for the Hungary Grand Prix. The fast and twisty nature of the circuit would be a good match for Mac T's skill set on F124. One to watch for sure. Let's see if Mac T can make it to this event. Obo had a bit of misfortune at the Mexico Grand Prix with some unlucky contact at the first corner, causing him to spin and lose a number of positions. Perhaps masking some strong pace in terms of the final finishing positions in what was his first race on a wheel. With some practice and a decent set of race pace, Obo could have a strong result in Hungary. SS7. Rumour has it, Hungary is a strong place for SS7. If SS7 can put in a decent qualification at Hungary, then we can say he will be a contender at this race. With consistency being one of SS7's key allies, he'll be sure to gain a good haul of points, both for his own driver's standings and his Mercedes team for the Constructors' Championship. M&D Hammer had a decent, clean outing last week in Mexico, with Hungary being a completely different circuit layout. Will it suit M&D Hammer's driving style? We will find out on Wednesday. A new driver to GFR. Jakub did not attend the Mexico Grand Prix, but in his first races has shown he is up for the challenge against our drivers here at G-Force Racing. We hope to see him back in action at Hungary to see just what he can do. Jakub has so far joined us at GFR for one round only. A new driver who has performed well in a league that includes some top-level drivers. We hope Jakub will rejoin us in the future and look forward to seeing what they can do. M. Dorling had a much stronger showing at last week's Mexico Grand Prix, an unfortunate incident causing a rather different and very long stint on the hard compound tyres at last week's race enabled him to get back to the front come the final few laps. Hungary is perhaps not the strongest of tracks for this driver, but maybe with some practice he can continue the good form shown last week. Daddy Tonk has recently joined the GFR League, putting in the hours in effort to get further up the grid, which seems to be showing in our Sunday friendly outings. We are happy to have Daddy Tonk joining us and look forward to seeing what he can do at Hungary on Wednesday. Another new driver this season to GFR, we are glad to see Matthew putting in good performances and showing strong improvements each week. A league of this level is no small feat, but Matthew seems to be grabbing this with both hands and rising to the challenge. Hannes stunned the paddock with a return to racing after a major operation, performing at an incredibly high level. We wish Hannes all the best for Hungary. I have a feeling it will be a strong showing for this driver on Wednesday. Emil returned to GFR last week in Mexico after a lengthy break. If Emil can get on top of this new game and its very different physics model, he will make fast progress up to the sharp end of the grid, as we have seen in previous seasons here at G-Force Racing. Will Hungary be a track where he bounces back We can't wait to find out. As always, good luck to all our drivers taking part this week. We prepare for yet another exciting round with the G-Force Racing League and encourage everyone to come along and watch our top quality stream or take to the track with our existing drivers. Let's go racing!
Dorling's GFR Digest.
So just a bit of fun, folks, but I hope you enjoyed that. And my huge thanks to Matt Dorling, M. Dorling, for putting those words together. All I did was take his words, put some pretty pictures around them, and hopefully give you a bit of insight to some of our drivers here as we prepare for the next round. Here are the results from Mexico. Desaves was our winner, I think, getting their maiden victory for G-Force Racing. Congratulations to them. M. Dorling very much improved from the week before, picking up second. And GoatGhosty didn't make it another victory. Third place from them, I believe, due to some track limit penalties or a penalty they picked up in-game last week. Mr. Hannes in fourth. Obo in fifth. Great drive from Mr. Hannes, by the way. Obo continuing to score well. SS7 in sixth there. M&D Hammer in seventh. Daddy Tonk picks up their first points with GFR in 8th. Then we welcome back Emeleki finishing in 9th. A bit of practice, as Matt was saying. I'm sure they'll be moving up that finishing order. And Matthew also picking up a point there in Hungary. We are just about getting ready to go, I think. Waiting for a handful of drivers to join us. We're going to have a smaller grid this week. But that's probably no bad thing round Hungary. If you've ever played the game or you've seen the track before, Hungary is very, very tight. And so it'll make qualification a touch easier, I think, without so many drivers out on track. GoatGhosty is being given the hurry up to get in into the race, and I think Goat will want to pick up those points. So I think we've got 9 drivers in already. I think the Goat will make the 10th, and that should give us plenty for some very, very close racing. Let me bring up the driver's standings while we wait for Goat to come in. So Goat indeed is our championship leader right now, 73 points. But Desaves' victory, or Jakub, I should call them Jakub, but we still know them as Desaves in SS7's tracker here. So Jakub's second now with 58, having picked up that victory in Mexico last week. So cutting the gap to GoatGhosty. Pankalek in third, starting to drift a little bit back from Desaves, but they're on 35 points. Obo fast approaching on 31. SS7 continually scoring, 27 points for them. MacT being back in Austria, big haul of points for them from that particular race. I'm hoping we'll see MacT in the not too distant future. Looks as though we're readying up, folks. We'll return to these driver standings in a bit, but let's head over to qualifying. See you on the other side of this. On the inside of Cox, SS7 goes with them. It's wheel to wheel as we head down towards Vale. 3 cars wide coming down the strip. All right, folks, let's go racing. All right, welcome back, folks. We're here in the pit lane in Hungary, getting ready for what's going to be the only round of sprint qualifying. So it is a sprint race day, so we get double for our money. So we're going to have a short sprint race and then into the main feature race. And remember, we're now operating under the new qualification arrangements. Oh, look as though Pankadalek is sneaking in as well. So I think we're going to have one or two more drivers come in as we get underway here. So yeah, we've got a sprint round and then the main feature race. So plenty of racing to feast our eyes on here today. We can see the drivers that are going to be out there. So Mbaleki, Obo, M. Dorling, M&D Hammer, Daddy Tonk, Monkey, GoatGhosty, SS7 and Jakub. And I think Pankadalek is sneaking in as well. So we should have 10 drivers out there. Looks as though Monkey has already retired from sprint qualification. So maybe they're just saving some tyres as we start to see some cars coming out of the garage. Hungary, a relatively short track, just 4.4 kilometres long. Pankadalek is in, great. So they are going to make it 10 out there. And let's go. SS7 is the first to come out. So we will spend a few moments with those with SS7. GoatGhosty is also out, going to warm up those tyres. SS7 out on some medium tyres for their first qualification lap in the sprint. We only get 12 minutes for qualifying of sprint, and then we'll get 18 minutes separate qualification for the feature race. So even if it goes horribly wrong for our drivers in the sprint, they'll get the opportunity to go again ready for the feature race. SS7 is going to be the first one to put a time in, so we may as well ride on board with SS7 around this very tight and twisty track here in Hungary. SS7 working those medium tyres pretty hard here. Coming around the last couple of corners here, this is turn 13, we're going to go into turn 14 and SS7 will look to line this up as best they can, get on the power, open up the DRS. In only one of two DRS zones here on the Hungaroring, braking into turn 1. Little bit of curb on the inside from SS7, then into our second DRS zone, and we're going to head down the hill into turn 2. Lots of traffic out already. That looks like another Mercedes ahead of us, is it? Yeah, I think that may be Jakub giving SS7 a bit of a tow and gets out of the way. Bit of teamwork there from the Mercedes. As we go into turn 5, this car drifting away from SS7 on the exit. Now through the chicane of 6 and 7. Running very wide on the exit of 7. Then through 8, then through 9. These corners coming at us thick and fast. Then flat out, round turn 11. Heading down to turn 12. One of the few overtaking opportunities really on this track. Into turn 13, unlucky for some, and we'll see, I dare say, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel action through 13. And then round the final corner of 14, SS7 trying to balance the throttle through 14 and over the line for a 1:15.359. So SS7 setting the early pace for everyone to try and beat. Bear in mind, of course, that SS7 set that on some medium tyres. So softs are likely to go quicker but will not last very long. Lots of cars getting out of the way, and now is that SS7 giving Jakub indeed a bit of a tow as Jakub now tries to better their teammate SS7 as we go around turn 5. Let's see how Jakub negotiates the chicane. Misses the apex of 6 but gets back on it for 7. Then through 8, then through 9. Jakub really impressing in the early stages of season 4. Very flat through turn 11, then down into turn 12. A little bit of curb on the outside. Doesn't unsettle the car too much. We head down into 13. Really nice and tight from Jakub. Back on the accelerator. Hanging on to that Mercedes as we come back on the start-finish straight over the line for a 1:14.656. Does indeed go significantly faster than SS7. Dorling's got a time on the board, a 1:27.224, and so has Pankadelek. But those times, as you can see, will need to come down in order to challenge the running order here. M&D Hammer's got a time 1:15.080, but GoatGhosty comes in with a 1:14.257. Let's put the tyres for us now. All of those early times being set on. Oh, and there was Pankadelek in the wall there, so that's a damaged front wing for Pankadelek, and can't seem to get out of that wall either at the moment. Struggling to get out there as the McLaren of GoatGhosty goes through. So Pankadelek pulling over to the side. He's struggling here, Pankadelek. Just doesn't even seem to get out the gravel, it would seem. So perhaps some controller issues there for Pankadelek. So Dorling we're with at the moment. They've got a 1:27.735. I wonder if they're going again. So Dorling, the author of Dorling's GFR digest that we had at the opening of the stream. Let's go on board with Dorling, because I think they're looking to try. They have just finished a lap. So 1:15.158 for Dorling there as their teammate Obo goes through. Now let's go with Obo here as they are on soft tyres. Let's see if those soft tyres are any notably quicker than the mediums that have been out there. Remember that 1:14.257 is the time to beat. The Aston goes sideways there through turn 4. Very aggressive from Obo through there, and again through the chicane. So really aggressive qualification lap from Obo here. That 1:14.257 is their target, trying to get on pole for the sprint. Obo now racing on a wheel, has been on controller for as long as we have known Obo. But just for season 4, they switched last week in Mexico onto a wheel, and I think they're starting to really love it as they come over the line, as long as they haven't invalidated, a 1:14.640. That was going to be the fastest lap, but as we see, GoatGhosty GoatGhosty's just gone out on a brand new set of softs. So we'll see how Goat goes on those. But a 1:14.640 for Obo puts them provisional second. Jakub is out on a set of brand new soft tyres with just over 3 minutes left to go. I do want to get down to Emeleki, who we welcome back with open arms. We have missed Emeleki from G-Force Racing. Hey, Tim Forever in the Twitch chat. Great to have you back. Stream is looking pretty sweet tonight, and I'm delighted to say I've had some changes of technology at this end to hopefully give you folks a better experience and a much smoother experience after the issues we had in Austria. So I'm hoping that the image quality and everything like that is going to run nice and smoothly for us today, as we are going to ride on board with Emeleki to see how Emeleki can do. Back on the F1 game, F1 24 relatively new to them, still settling in here, but Emeleki is born with pace, so we'll see how that translates here. Hey, I've got Ace Pilot in the Twitch chat as well. Welcome, Ace. And you're even in the commentary stream. Hang on, let me press some right buttons so you can talk to me. Just a moment here as we're riding on board with Emeleki on their first flying lap round Hungary. Coming up into turn 4 here in the Red Bull. So Emeleki, very strong contender from previous seasons, but still getting to grips with this game, and is notably different from F1 23, where Emeleki was a bit of a master, indeed a rain master, for any of you that remember watching. And Emeleki's backed out of that one, so put some rain down, and Emeleki is a demon. They went incredibly well in Zandvoort in season 3, so Emeleki will possibly go again. GoatGhosty has the fastest lap of qualification so far, 1:14.257. There's Obo still holding on to second place with a 1:14.640, who is now out on a brand new set of mediums. Jakub is now out also on a brand new set of soft tyres, and I think they're going now. I'm going to bring up our telemetry information as well, so we can see if Jakub is improving. We go into the chicane of 6 and 7, and how aggressive is Jakub going to be? Let's clip the inside of 7, but pretty tries their best to straight line that and get the straightest line possible. Flat again through turn 11. Pankadelek has retired, so I wonder whether those controller issues or game issues are still plaguing them. They've got a time on the board, currently 8th. Daddy Tonk's there with a 1:16.092, currently provisional 7th. Jakub crosses the line for a 1:14.175, and the fastest lap so far for Jakub. Not bad. I'm assuming you're... are you in game, Toby, or are you following on through the stream?
I'm on the stream until I can open up the game, because I joined late because I just got home.
Okay, well, I'm glad you jumped on here. We'll let you get settled in with your connection to the game. Jakub has provisional pole. We've got 21 seconds left. Can Goat improve on that 1:14.257? They've left it to the very last minute to try out. Into our second DRS zone, heading down towards turn 3. Goat, incredibly strong performances early doors this season. That back end of the McLaren starting to drift out as they accelerated out of turn 2. Really aggressive through 4. Nice and controlled though through 5. We've got a car in front of us which is possibly on a hot lap at this stage in qualification. So much time to be gained if you get it right round these tight corners, so much time that can be lost if you get it wrong. Goat is nearly 3/10 up as they came through sector 2, so this is looking very strong from Goat. Are they going to steal pole position away from Jakub for the sprint race? Back on the power, one more corner for Goat. At 1:14.175 is the time for them to be, and they get 1:14 dead. Brilliant qualification lap from GoatGhosty. Toby, that was pretty special from Goat.
Yeah, I was watching the stream. That was really quick, especially to beat the 1:14.1.
Really strong pace once again from Goat, but Jakub is laying a claim to that championship title in season 4. This could be a very close battle between the McLaren and the Mercedes as we go into the sprint race. So the qualification results for the sprint. GoatGhosty's on pole. Jakub is alongside them in the Mercedes. Then come the two Aston Martins. Great performance from them. 3rd and 4th on the grid. An all Aston Martin 2nd row. Then an all Red Bulls 3rd row with Emma Leckie alongside M&D Hammer. M&D Hammer setting their best time on the mediums there. SS7 not so strong. In 7th alongside Daddy Tonk there in 8th. And then Pankadelek with clearly some kind of steering issues, I think, in 9th. And Monkey, unfortunately, obviously did not set a time, but we saw they retired from the sprint qualification right at the very beginning. So Monkey will be starting at the back of the grid. This could be a tight one, Toby. Goat looking strong as we'd probably expect at this point, but Jakub also really starting to match Goat's pace.
Yeah, it's going to get really interesting near the end.
And remember, we've got 2 of these. So we get the sprint and then we're going to get the feature. We're on 35% for these folks, just so that we're not racing into the early hours of the morning and we can all let you go and have some well-deserved rest. But we are going to have wall-to-wall racing here for the next hour or so as we navigate the sprint race and then the feature race qualification and then the feature race itself. But it's set to 35% for this evening's racing. Normally it's 50% unless we have a sprint round. So 35% today. But on this tight track here in Hungary, that will give us plenty of action over a slightly shorter number of laps. This track 4.4 kilometres long, just those 14 corners. Those 2 DRS zones makes overtaking a little bit difficult here, but there's a main one at the end of this straight. All right, 5 lights are on. All right, folks, let's go racing for round 4 of the G-Force Racing Season 4 League as Goat leads us away, and Jakub is under pressure from the two Aston Martins. That Mercedes squeezed between the two of them, but are they going to take each other out? Yeah, there was no way through. I don't think they saw each other there. So the two Astons squeezing the Mercedes, no way through. And that has played right into the hands of M&D Hammer, who has now moved up into second place, and Daddy Tonk all the way up from 7th into 3rd. Toby, Daddy Tonk's really taken advantage of all that chaos out of turn 1.
Most definitely. Both Mercs definitely got some damage. I just saw some carbon fibre flying. And both Astons, I think, maybe got some side pod or front wing damage.
We'll look for those missing end plates from those front wings as the Red Bull of Emeleki goes very wide as well. So an excellent start from GoatGhosty leads us away. M&D Hammer there now into second place, cleanly through in the early stages. Then comes Daddy Tonk in what is only an 8-lap race. So if Daddy Tonk can stay there, they're going to be on the podium for the first time for G-Force Racing. Then comes Obo, who has got through that little battle between them, Jakub and M. Dorling, and looks as though Obo's got through unscathed. We don't have long here, folks, so it's going to be over in a flash. Looks like Obo's under pressure here from Jakub going down the outside of the Aston, and indeed they go through, and SS7's trying to go with Jakub there. Obo's managing to hold on to that. DRS not yet active. I don't think it was. Didn't see that come up, but maybe it will be.
Should be active now.
Yeah, it should be, Toby. I was expecting to be, but I didn't see those front wings, those rear wings open. So Jakub has made their way back through. Doesn't look as though they've got major damage, if any, on the front of that McLaren, that Mercedes. So look to be okay at this point. GoatGhosty 2 seconds out in front in the lead there from M&D Hammer. Daddy Tonk 2 seconds back from M&D Hammer. But Jakub is now closing in on the Ferrari of Daddy Tonk. And Toby, it's so difficult to pass around here. There really is only that one opportunity, normally at the end of the main straight, possibly here into turn 12, but the only realistic one is the main straight, you think?
Possibly also the second DRS though.
Well, Jakub's about to try and prove me wrong. They're trying to do it on the inside of 13 and then round the outside of 14. Goat sets the fastest lap of the race so far, but Daddy Tonk hanging on to that third place. Very strong defence from Daddy Tonk to the fast charging Jakub, but Jakub is through. Oh no, Daddy Tonk breaks later, but goes long, and that's going to give Jakub the opportunity to get back through, and indeed Jakub up into third place. That's slipping Daddy Tonk back into the clutches of Obo. SS7 through on Obo, was wheel to wheel briefly there between the Aston and the Mercedes. So SS7 trying to find a way through on the Aston as we see Pankadelek getting down the inside of M. Dorling up into 7th place. M. Dorling looks to be struggling, Toby. They must have been the one that picked up some damage with that coming together. Also, SS7 hits the back of Obo there into the chicane. But yeah, looks like M. Dorling struggling a bit.
Yeah, and between the Mercedes and the Merc, the Mercedes and the Merc and the Aston, coming into like turn 3, I think I saw some carbon fibre flying off.
And plumes of dust from the latest update in the, or smoke from the latest update on the game. SS7 tapping the back of Obo one more time. Obo slowing down perhaps a little bit quicker than SS7 expecting there, but it seems to be okay. As it's very close between 4th and 9th here. So all line astern as Obo now trying to go around the outside of Daddy Tonk. That leaves the door open for SS7 to sneak down the inside of the Aston Martin. You can understand us, folks, focusing on these main battles here with GoatGhosty streaming out in the lead, but Daddy Tonk really the cork in the bottle here, holding up Obo in the Aston, SS7 in the Mercedes, and then Pankadelek behind them. Then comes Emeleki, then comes M. Dorling. All trying to find a way around the Ferrari. Indeed, Obo has found a way through turn 5, as has SS7, as has Pankadelek. So Daddy Tonk slipping back through the order here. It's really tight here, Toby. This is all going to end in tears, isn't it?
Could possibly, but with the quality of the GFR, I don't think it will. But it's unfortunate for Daddy Tonk, and I think it was a bit inevitable.
I fear they did take their opportunity to get through, though. So, and fair play to them. They defended for their lives. But Obo is stretching out now from SS7. SS7 trying to stay within that 1 second DRS range, so they'll get that down the straight. Pankadelek, though, is right on the tail here of SS7. Plenty of battery in the tank for Pankadelek. So SS7 under pressure here, has the benefit of DRS behind Obo, but Pankadelek comes down the inside of the Mercedes, tries to hold it tight to the inside. I think Obo's lost it slightly coming out of turn 1 and has headed off into the scenery. Toby, I think we had a front row view of that with Obo really just continuing to turn right, it would seem, but just lost grip on the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, it looked to lose the rear, and Pankadelek had nowhere to go.
Well, it looks as though Obo's still in one piece and in going, but has dropped back a number of places as a result. So Dorling now benefiting from their teammates' woes and is now up into 5th. So good recovery from Dorling after what we thought was a bit of a struggle for them after that first corner, coming together with Jakub and their teammate. But is now on the back of SS7 and looking to take 4th place away. SS7 desperately trying to hold on to that fourth place, but is a long way back from Jakub. Jakub 2 seconds back from M&D Hammer. M&D Hammer near 4 seconds back from GoatGhosty. So Jakub trying to recover. Now SS7 trying to break the slipstream and the toe for Dorling, but Dorling has the DRS, will have the inside going into turn 1. And I think they may make this stick. SS7 tries to take the shorter line round, cut back early, not able to make that work, and Dorling moves up into 4th place. Good move by Dorling, Toby.
Yeah, it looked like SS7 just lost the rear momentarily coming out of that final corner.
Keeping an eye on Jakub, they are 1.5 seconds away from M&D Hammer. We maybe a last lap battle for 2nd place. Dorling now in 4th. SS7 is sticking with them though. Pankadelek just behind. Then comes Emeleki, having recovered from a bit of a tough start also. Daddy Tonk still with them, but sadly Daddy Tonk picking up the track limits penalty there. There'll be 3 seconds to be added to their time at the end. Oh, and that was the rear end of Emeleki's Red Bull going very, very sideways. Lets Daddy Tonk back through. These cars all within DRS range of each other. Obo having recovered now back into DRS of Emeleki, not least helped by that wild slide from the Red Bull. So very, very tight at the top here. Jakub, still within about 1.5 seconds from M&D Hammer. I think it's going to be a bit too late on the Emeleki now back through on Daddy Tonk. Up into 7th place on their return to G-Force Racing. Just the one race so far for them. This will be a good sighter for them for the feature race to come straight after this one. Pankadelek and SS7 resume battle once again, but SS7 has not got off the back of Dorling, and I thought SS7 was starting to struggle, but they're really able to stay with Dorling, Toby.
Yeah, it might be that DRS pulling them along. They'd be struggling on the dirty air, definitely in the tight, twisty section.
Yeah, well, they're seeming to hang on pretty decently there, but Pankadelek also putting SS7 under pressure. We've got one more lap to go after this one, folks. I told you it was going to be over quickly. So GoatGhosty leads the way from M&D Hammer. Jakub nearly within a second of... Oh, and that was the Ferrari. I saw Daddy Tonk going very wide in the background there. So Daddy Tonk dropping back into 9th. And then Obo briefly. These are swapping places, Daddy Tonk and Obo at the moment. So what if Obo had a moment? Doesn't need to fight Daddy Tonk. No, Daddy Tonk with that 3-second penalty. So GoatGhosty leads the way on the final lap of the sprint here in Hungary. M&D Hammer 4.5 seconds back, but holding off the charge from Jakub in 3rd. Dorling 4 seconds back from the top 3. SS7 desperately trying to hold Pankadelek at bay. Pankadelek looks for an opportunity down the inside of turn 2 there, but it wasn't there. So the Williams drops back in behind SS7. SS7 now is trying to hold the inside into turn 4. Pankadelek goes very, very wide. That will be a track limits warning for the Williams driver. You get 3 of those, you're going to get a 3-second penalty. But Pankadelek is trying to find a way past SS7 here, not able to make it work. They're gradually slipping back into the clutches of Emeleki who seems to be getting that Red Bull under a bit more control. Let's get back up to the front of this race, because GoatGhosty is going to be back to winning ways here after third place in Mexico. It looks as though GoatGhosty is going to pick up their next victory here in G-Force Racing. Congratulations to them. Winner of the sprint race is GoatGhosty. Then M&D Hammer took great advantage of the first corner incidents and comes through to take second. Then comes Jakub after recovering from that incident, and they take third. Dorling comes home in fourth. SS7 there in fifth, so not a bad sprint race result for the Mercedes team. Pankadek finishes in sixth. Emalecki finishes seventh. Obo eventually finishes eighth, but a tough race for them, it would seem, in the end. And the two Ferraris of Daddy Tonk and Monkey come home in ninth and 10th. Oh, take a breath, Toby. Good drive from GoatGhosty once again, but anyone else impress you from that one?
I would say Daddy Tonk if he managed to finish up there, because he took advantage and defended like all hell.
Yeah, I've got to say, Daddy Tonk, if he could have kept it clean at least on in terms of track limits, I think they did a pretty decent job otherwise. But they were under pressure from the fastest drivers in G-Force Racing there around a very tight, twisty circuit. Well, there's our final classification from the sprint. GoatGhosty victorious once again. M&D Hammer in second. Jakub in third. Dorling in fourth. SS7 in fifth. SS7 making a habit of finishing the midfield at the moment. Pankadek in sixth after a great battle with SS7. Emalecki in seventh. And Obo is our last points scorer. Sadly, no points for the Ferraris of Daddy Tonk and Monkey. I'm sure, and actually there's a lot of chat in the drivers' chat already, Toby, around that first corner incident. But that was, I don't think really, it was one of those first corner incidents really. It was just three wide into there. I don't think anyone had anywhere to go, and it was only ever going to end with someone losing out.
Yeah, unfortunately that will happen. Especially with the field being so competitive as it is.
It was, yeah, and I think Dorling's just asking what they all talking about, and I think Matt probably didn't have a clue. They just saw a Mercedes on their outside and probably didn't realise that their teammate was further outside them. So, but that is racing round Hungary for you folks. It is very, very tight. Right, after a short breather, we are back out now for qualification for the feature race. So we put everything behind us that went before, and we start again. So we get 18 minutes here for qualifying for the feature race. Just the one session, so we're not doing Q1, Q2 and Q3. Just the one session of 18 minutes. Our drivers try and set the fastest time possible. And Toby, our drivers have to be a bit careful about what tyres they use here. Obviously, smaller allocation for a sprint round. So they've obviously used some tyres in the sprint race. Do you see, just imagine some of our drivers are going to come out on mediums or even hards maybe here, depending on what selection they've got in the garage?
What I saw on qualifying at the end of it, I have a feeling those that set medium laps are going to come out on soft and will be in the top 5, most likely. But I don't know whether people might do sighters or mediums. Hards are definitely, I'd say, for the race, not qualifying.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of them have got a weather forecast either. So that may play a factor in terms of what they use here. Hungary in the summer is known for being blisteringly hot, but when it does rain here, it rains quite a fair bit. So we'll have to see what if any of our drivers volunteer some information in the drivers' chat on.
Do you not have your race tools?
I do. It's currently saying 0% chance of rain during qualification, but that doesn't tell me the race forecast. So I'll keep an eye on that. But at the moment, it's definitely going to be dry for the qualification at least. So we will see. We will see. Dorling, M&D Hammer, and Pankadek, the first drivers out in qualifying, and some of our questions being answered straight away. M&D Hammer out on mediums. Yeah. So, and let's bring the tyres up for everyone who is watching on the stream with us. Oh, just M&D Hammer is the only one currently to try it on medium. So everyone else currently selecting softs, although there's many still in the garage. So we keep an eye on that. They may change. How do you get on round this track here in Hungary, Toby? Is this one of your favourites or one of those you'd rather forget about?
When I can nail it, it's nice, but that doesn't come that often.
Well, if you get it wrong round Hungary, it's not quite like a street track. You don't typically end up in a wall, but they're not a million miles away, and there's an awful lot to catch you out. It is
a short trip, not much time to send a postcard.
So we're on board with M&D Hammer into turn one on their first qualifying lap for the feature race. Very good result for them in the sprint, finishing second, so they'll be hoping for a similar result here. And Toby, M&D Hammer impressed me in Austria. I didn't see them race last week in Mexico, but it was a good drive in Austria, picking up points in both the sprint and in the feature race in Austria. So I suppose we shouldn't be that surprised they're going well here.
Yeah, the only issue is I remember having him being reported to the FIA a few times, but he is a good benchmark to see whether the mediums are worth using compared to the softs. Compare like Dorling.
And M&D Hammer did pick up a small penalty from the Austria race. Didn't materially impact too much of the race outcome. They did drop a couple of places, but broadly speaking, they had a very, very good race. It was just basically aggressive driving. Misjudged it into the right-hander in Austria, which unfortunately pushed Jakub off track, and they picked up a penalty for that. But they sell 114.8. So, yeah, the medium tyres seeming to go well round here. I wonder how well they'll do in the race, though.
Yeah, if they can be switched on very easily in one lap, it might be his driving style, but if they overheat, then they're done for, basically.
Pankadelek setting the fastest time so far, and they have been out on soft tyres, a 114.489 for them. They're provisional first at the moment. Dorling said a 114.772, but M&D Hammer, as we just saw as we were on board with them, setting 114.8. Obo goes a fraction faster than their teammate, so Obo gets a 114.625. Still a way to go here in qualifying for the feature race. We've got just over 12 minutes left to go, so plenty of time for our drivers to go again. And do you fancy Goat maybe thinking of trying to get in the 113s now?
It's theoretically possible. Whether or not he gets the clear track, because it's all about whether he gets a tow. With a tow, 100% it's going to happen. But it's whether he gets affected anywhere else on track.
We're on board now with Monkey, so we didn't spend any time with Monkey, sadly, in last qualification because they didn't do it. But they are out now for the feature race. So Monkey has got their first time on the board, a 117.266. So they are at least on the board in a qualification for the feature race. Emeleki just coming out. They're on an out lap now. And Jakub is going for their next lap. So Jakub had to recover from that coming together with the two Aston Martins, the Aston Martin sandwich from the sprint race. We'll be looking to try and get up the grid as far as they can. Jakub takes quite a bit of the curb on the left-hand side as they come into turn 12 there. I've noticed a few of our drivers trying to stay clear of these curbs. They are quite aggressive here around Hungary. Jakub not afraid of them though. Managing that throttle through turn 14. And Jakub gets the fastest lap of qualification so far, 114.359. So good time from Jakub, Toby.
Yeah, definitely. As pushing, these times are going lower and lower, quicker than I expected.
Nothing yet from Emeleki, from GoatGhosty, or from SS7, so keeping their powder dry. Emeleki is out there though. They are on our lap. So Emeleki, point scorer in the sprint race, looking to get a few more here. on their return to G-Force Racing. Always remember Emma Leckie used to run very, very low downforce on F1 23, had a very tail-happy car. Looks to be a little bit more controlled now, although as we saw in the sprint, that Red Bull had a tendency to get away from them and misses the apex on the way into turn 12.
You had to open your mouth.
As we come around turn 14, very wide now, although Emeleki trying to get a tighter apex, a late apex there. Gets a 114.772, provisional fifth for Emeleki at this stage in qualifying. So 9 minutes left to go. SS7 is now out for their next lap, as is GoatGhosty. Where are they? So Goat is following on behind SS7 here, so SS7 looking to set their first time in qualifying. As we come over the start-finish line with SS7, we ride on board, we head down from the first DRS zone into turn 1. Very bright sunny day here in Hungary. So many lines around turn 1 there, but the back end will tries to get away from you as you put down the power on the exit of turn 1. Then into turn 2, the track drops away from us. Don't want to run out too wide because we want the best possible fastest line through turn 3. The drivers won't lift for 3. Just a small lift from SS7 through 4. Wrestles the Mercedes as we try and get back on the power through 5. Then into the chicane. Good line from SS7 through the chicane. Now we try and coast the car through turns 8 and 9, then 10, then 11, flat out through 11, then down into turn 12. 2 more corners for us to go. We're looking for a 114.359 from SS7 or better to get them on the front row of this grid. With 8 minutes left to go, SS7 comes over the line for a 114.775. Toby, it's super tight in that midfield.
Yeah, the top 6 is separated by just less than half a second.
Well, it's only like 2/10 between 3rd and 7th at the moment. That is nothing to separate them, and only 3 thousandths of a second between 4th and 6th, so it's going to be very, very tight.
At the same time as 4th and 5th got the same time as well.
Yep, all absolutely identical. It is ever so tight here. So Goat is trying to set their first time, coming around the final corners of the lap here. There's the pit entry on the right hand side. As we come around the final corner and cross the line for 114.253, provisional pole for GoatGhosty. Goat has been immense this the first few races of this season. Toby, what do you think his secret is?
I'm going to say practice, but I feel like he just wings it every race.
I think Goat might say the same thing, to be honest. They have quite an aggressive style, I think, but in a very controlled way. What we haven't really seen, and I must admit, I'm Goat's in the Twitch chat, so welcome, Goat. I would say focus on the racing, but I guess you're on the AI as you ghost round here. He's so right. Toby, you nailed it. You nailed it. Makes it up as he goes along. So, well, it's working out for you, Goat. Keep going. Really strong pace, both here and in the previous races. So, 1 victory already today. We'll see if you can make it 2 for 2 here in Hungary. 6 minutes of qualifying left to go. M&D Hammer yet to go out on soft tyres, Toby. They look pretty confident, actually. If 114.489, they have actually improved on those medium tyres. Is M&D Hammer a dark horse here for Hungary?
Possibly. He got the exact same time as Pankadelect on mediums, which are, I want to say, probably 2/10 slower.
Very
or impressed. Should be.
Yeah, very impressed with this driving from M&D Hammer. And to be fair, no fluke, they showed it in the sprint. Jakub could not catch them at the end there. So it's going well for M&D Hammer here today, but Goat is the one to beat. 114.253. Daddy Tonk is out. So let's spend some time with Daddy Tonk. Picked up their first points in Mexico last week and gets Ferrari on the board as well in the Constructors title. And they also picked up points in the sprint race here today. So it's were somewhat swamped by a number of the other drivers, but to be fair to them, they took their opportunity early on in the sprint, but only as the race progressed did they start to slip back. But Daddy Tonk out there looking to improve on that 115.816. Obviously warming up those soft tyres. Do you think, Toby, these soft tyres are actually going to be a race tyre, or are our drivers going to use these for qualifying only?
The soft tyre could be a last ditch if a very late safety car comes, or they pray for a very early safety car and start on soft to try and make up track position and then hold it throughout the race.
Hungary ever so horrible on tyres. They will chew them up just because of the volume of turns and stresses that the cars will go through on this track. But Daddy's top 115.816 is what they're trying to improve on, and they'll need to be 114.775 or better to move up the running order for the start of the feature race. We have 4 minutes left to go, folks. Not long for our drivers to get one more qualifying lap in. Daddy Tonk trying to hang on to that that Ferrari as we go around turn 2, then through 3, up to the fast sweeping turn 4, flick left, trying to keep it in track limits, and Daddy Tonk goes beyond track limits there. I don't think that lap is going to count. As Daddy Tonk backed out, they think they may still be going here, so maybe this lap may still count.
The map would have gone red.
Yeah, I would have done so. Well, that's the game being very, very generous. Yeah, Daddy Tonk has lost it through them. Now they've backed out. So I wonder if they've saved any battery. They've got a fair bit of battery here, Toby, so they could go again. I guess only if they've got enough fuel.
Yeah, and also it depends on the tyre's condition, whether it's overheated now.
Very true. They were pushing hard and there was a lot of sliding going on. Will Daddy Tonk dash into the pits? There's probably not enough time to get in, refuel, and back out again. So they stay out. They're going to go one more time. We'll stay with Daddy Tonk. See if they... Are they going again? I think they are, unless they're just trying to charge up. No, they're deploying their battery, so they must be going again here. So Daddy Tonk going to try one more time. 115.816. Obo is on their way out of the pits. Emelecki is on a hot lap right now. We'll see if they can improve on that 114.772. Daddy Tonk a bit cleaner there through turn 2. Now this was the tricky one. That was the flick through turn 4. Caught them out last time. Drifted a bit too far wide. A bit more gentle. Very, very tight. And there you go, Toby. That invalidated again, sadly, for Daddy Tonk. I don't think they'll be able to go again. That's probably them done.
Yeah, it'll be a 130 to get round on a push on your out lap, and let alone going through the pit lane and refueling.
So I'm just checking if Emelecki did improve on their last time.
They haven't yet.
No, so 114.772. I think they must be going in. They are up 1.5 tenths through the first sector, so it's going well. This qualification lap for Emelecki, looking to improve on that 114.772 as they come through the chicane. Don't worry about the yellow flags during qualifying, folks. That back end of the Red Bull starting to step out again. Maybe Emelecki's gone back to their 0-0 wings. We will see as they go through turn 11 down into turn 12. The McLaren of GoatGhosty stepping out of their way as they go through there. Goat is going to go one more time, see if they can get in the 113s. Will they be first driver to make it into the 113s? Emelecki coming around the final corner, sector 3, over the start finish line for 1 foot. Wow, massive improvement there, Toby, from Emelecki, half a second quicker.
That's quite impressive on a track that's difficult to navigate.
And they take provisional pole position. So, gauntlet laid down to GoatGhosty here, who is on their hot lap. Jakub's out there on a hot lap also, as is Obo.
And GoatGhosty got a lovely toe from Emil.
So Emil may be doing themselves no favours. Obo goes quickest, 1:14.210. These times tumbling all the time now. Goat, keep an eye on the top right corner of your screen, folks. We'll see if Goat is up. They were purple in... Oh, no, that was... no, they were green in the first sector. So improving, but not purple. Up 1.5 tenths in the first sector. 1:14.210. Obo on provisional pole. GoatGhosty is up by nearly 2 tenths now. Made up a huge amount of time in the first sector, but still no purple sectors from Goat, but just adding the time savings corner by corner. Emelecki holding on to that second at the moment. Goat comes over the finish line. 1:14.038. Nearly beats their qualification time from the sprint, but GoatGhosty goes back into pole. Jakub comes over in third, 1:14.232. M&D Hammer, who's been going ever so well on the mediums, now trying to improve.
And he might get a distant toe from
M&D Hammer's 3 tenths up, I think. So I think they're going very, very well here. Let's see as they come over the line. Will M&D Hammer steal pole position? Ooh, not quite, I think. My timing screen has not refreshed yet. I think 1:14.234 for them. They have, I think, slotted into fourth. There we go. 1:14.227. Right, here you go, folks. This is the results of qualifying for the feature race. GoatGhosty back on pole. Dorling in second. Obo in third. Aston Martin going incredibly well here in Hungary. M&D Hammer in the Rebel in fourth, as we were on board with there. Then Jakub in fifth. Emelecki alongside them in sixth. Then comes Pankelek alongside SS7 and the two Ferraris, Daddy Tonk and Monkey at the rear of the grid. But Daddy Tonk improving there and will want to have something to say in this race. Is GoatGhosty... I'll get my words out, Toby. Is GoatGhosty going to be beaten in Hungary?
It depends if someone kamikazes turn one.
Well, let's hope not. For the FIA's sake, I would say. Yeah, there's going to be a fair bit of discussion, I dare say, about that first corner in the sprint. Albeit that I think
maybe not, because they're taking it out after the race and taking it into a private chat to talk about.
Yeah, no, I think they'll work it out amongst themselves. I think that was one of those things, but we'll see. That's what the FIA is there for. To hopefully adjudicate these things. So we'll keep an eye out for those. There may be one or two others. There was a little bit of contact during the sprint race. But this is such a tight circuit, folks. There is very little time for our drivers to breathe as they go round these 14 corners here in Hungary. Just keeping a very close eye on my timing screen to see if we get any sense of rain. It does look as though it's staying dry. I think it's going to be a fully dry race. We've got 5 lights on. All right, folks, let's go racing for the feature race here of the G-Force Racing League in Hungary. GoatGhosty has led us away. The two Aston Martins providing a blocker there for the Red Bull of M&D Hammer. Obo slots in behind him. Dorling, there's a yellow flag at the back. That looks
Monkey
like...
jump started.
Yeah, so drive-through penalty for Monkey. And one of SS7 has lost out, and Emelecki also lost out. Oh, Emelecki is right back there, so I'm not sure what's happened to Emelecki. They are going, but they've dropped right back. So let's get up the front of the grid here. Yeah, so a jump start for Monkey. There will have a drive-through penalty. So Dorling on the back of GoatGhosty. And Toby, they've got to hang on to the back of Goat for as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, as long as they can stay in DRS and don't harm their tyres too much, it should be good. Because it's 35% race distance, they should be good.
Absolutely right. 25 laps for us, folks. So those 25 will go very, very quickly. There's a mixture of strategies here, Toby. We've got about half the field on mediums, half the field on hards. We saw how good the mediums were in qualifying, so they're clearly a very fast tyre. Big question is, how long are they going to last?
Very good question, and I'll have the answer for you in about 10 to 13 laps when they first pit stop.
Indeed. Those hards should go a long way. We won't expect 2 pit stops here unless safety cars play a factor. We spoke briefly in qualifying about soft tyres and whether or not they'd be used during the feature race. We doubt it, but if there's a unexpected safety car at some point, which is possible around this tight track here in Hungary, then we can see some drivers dash into the pits. And Toby, you can probably make the best part of a second a lap on some soft tyres if the time is right. Bear with me, we got a spinning and recovering Monkey here in the Ferrari. Had lost it coming through turn 3, sorry. So Monkey is recovering, has dropped a long way back. Yeah, so Toby, those soft tyres would give you an awful lot of pace if they hang on.
Definitely near the end when people will be on worn mediums and worn hards, definitely at least 7/10 to a second. But Monkey's got to go back in the pits after his drive-through because we've got a damaged front wing.
That has not worked out well for Monkey, but they do just have to finish the race because there's only 10 drivers out there. If Monkey can finish today, they will at least get a point. So it's worth sticking around and just getting that Ferrari to the very end. Daddy Tonk has made up a position from their start. They're up into 8th. But it is now M&D Hammer coming under pressure from Jakub in the Mercedes. So Jakub on the medium tyres. M&D Hammer on the hards. Not surprisingly, M&D Hammer has dropped out of DRS range from Obo in front. So those front three running on the mediums will have a lot more pace than the Red Bull right now. And M&D Hammer, Toby's just got to hang on, but that seems near impossible, isn't it, against Jakub?
I wouldn't say it's not. Once those tyres switch on, which will be at lap 5 at the latest, he'll be pulling on Obo and then Dorling for definite within by lap 5.
And Jakub's got to be careful because they are pulling Pankadalek with them in the Williams here. So these 3 cars very close together, MD Hammer, Jakub and Pankadalek. SS7 recovering, I think, for some contact in the early part of the race through turn 1. 3 seconds back from Pankadalek on the hard tyres. So SS7 hoping probably for a safety car to bring them back into play. M&D Hammer trying to fight this out with Jakub through turn 1 and then into turn 2. Jakub's got the inside line. M&D Hammer really trying their best to hang on, but doesn't make that work. That's compromised on the exit of turn 4, opening the door for Pankadalek to try and get round the outside. Pankadalek thinks better of it, ducks back in behind the Red Bull, and Jakub now has got to scamper after Obo. There is a yellow flag in sector 3. That's on the exit of turn 14. The
Monkey.
Ferrari of Monkey, and Monkey has DNF'd on the start-finish straight. The yellow flag still waving. Hopefully they are out of harm's way and we won't get a safety car, although as a few of our drivers here will possibly be hoping for it. That yellow flag still out. It does look as though Monkey is still travelling according to the mini-map. We won't be able to get to them because they're shown as DNF. We'll stay with Jakub as they come round here. They're going to come past Monkey here on the start-finish straight. So no overtaking down the start-finish straight because of those yellow flags. So that yellow flag is still, it does look as though Monkey's still travelling according to the mini-map. I don't think we can actually physically get to.
It's probably he chose to.
They've gone.
He chose to DNF.
Yeah, so Monkey has pulled over to the side just past turn 2. That is one of the Ferraris out, sadly, but Daddy Tonk still going there in 8th for Ferrari. And to give Daddy Tonk some credit here, Toby, they are on the back of SS7. I wonder if SS7's carrying some damage or Daddy Tonk's found some pace.
I pray that SS7's got a bit of damage because Daddy Tonk is one of the drivers when I race, I can race quite well.
So what you're saying is you don't want them to improve. Is that it?
I don't want them to improve at a faster rate than I do. I would love them to win a race, but I want to be able to fight people as well.
That's very honest of you. That's very honest of you. So, well, Daddy Tonk is certainly not giving SS7 any peace at all. Staying within the range of DRS, that will help them stay with the Mercedes. But these hard drivers now, other than M&D Hammer, are starting to drop away. But I've got to say, actually, M&D Hammer, Pankadelek, you're right, Toby. We're on lap 6 now. These hard tyres starting to come into their own as the Red Bull of M&D Hammer tries to find a way around the outside of Jakub and Pankadelek with them. I think these mediums are going off quick.
Yep. I reckon they're going to have to pit by lap 10 at the... that's the middle of the pit window, I think, lap 10.
Let's get back up to the front because we've been distracted by this big battle for third through to sixth. But M. Dorling has stuck with GoatGhosty here. So they are following each other. And then Obo in the other Aston, 1.5 seconds back from their teammate. And starting to come under pressure from Jakub and M&D Hammer. So this is looking like a 2-horse race at the moment, Toby, between Goat and M. Dorling.
Definitely, but it's who's worked their tyres more.
Oh, and a touch from Jakub on the back of Obo sends Obo into the barrier there. Hopefully they didn't pick up any major damage, but Toby, I don't know if you saw that. Looks as though a contact...
Just seeing it now. He didn't touch the barrier at all.
Oh, he didn't? Oh, that's good. Okay, so, but definitely some contact from Jakub on the back of Obo. Pushed Obo off track, but those medium tyres starting to feel the pain. M&D Hammer now through up into third. 3 seconds back, though, from M. Dorling. They are springing. Jakub, Pankadelek with them. Obo recovering. But we'll see who blinks first on these medium tyres. Doesn't look as though they can go much further. What we don't know is how long these hards can go, though. So we may well have 2 pit stops if these hards go off quickly. This Hungary track is starting to eat rubber for breakfast. So M&D Hammer starting to close down on M. Dorling. Toby, watch that time. 2.8 seconds and closing all the time. Oh, as M&D Hammer goes very, very wide out of 11.
That won't help his charge, but I think the hards, they're going to have to pit. I want to say lap 16, 17 will be around the pit window.
They won't want to leave it much later than that. But then I guess there's the opportunity to go on softs. It's really how long they will last. Well, Pankadelek now on Jakub. Have they made it through? Yes, Pankadelek in the Williams up into fourth. So these hard tyres coming into their own now. M&D Hammer 2.5 seconds back from M. Dorling. The last lap for M&D Hammer was a 1:17 point. No, that was their fastest lap. Apologies. Let me see if I can get the right time. Oh, they've changed the Racing League tools, so I can't see the last lap time. I might need to have to try and add that back in. Their fastest lap so far is a 1:16.963 from Goat, which was set much earlier on. But that gap now, Toby, to between M&D Hammer and M. Dorling, under 2 seconds already. M&D Hammer closing at a rate of knots.
Yeah, it's those hards have switched on and those mediums have fallen off a cliff, shall we say.
Ah, right, so I found the latest lap time. So 1:17.5 for M&D Hammer on that last lap, a 1:18.1 for M. Dorling. So 0.6 better for M&D Hammer on lap 7 here. So 1.2 seconds, nearly into the range of DRS for M&D Hammer. And indeed, we see SS7 improving up into 6th because Obo is the first to blink, Toby. Obo into the pits on lap 9.
That is no surprise, but I feel the undercut will be very powerful here.
And let's keep an eye on that. No front wing for Obo, so they clearly didn't pick up any major damage from that coming together with Jakub. SS7 trying to catch up now with their teammate of Jakub. Jakub, remember, on those medium tyres. 8 laps old, all of these now, other than Obo, who has just pitted. So Obo's got to take those hard tyres, another 16 laps or so. But SS7 closing in on their teammate. They are dragging Emma Leckie with them and Daddy Tom. So Daddy Tonk there in 8th, Emeleki in 7th, SS7 recovering from that early collision, we think, at turn 1. We'll see if we hear any more about that. Emeleki and Pankadlek, the first drivers with track limits. Toby, if these cars running so closely together, track limits today could really decide a lot of positions.
That could, for example, if Goat got a track limit, that will put him 4th, sorry, he'll put him 4th.
And M. Dorling is in. So M. Dorling, the first of our front runners into the pits. This will tell us about that undercut Toby was telling us about. M. Dorling was literally half a second behind GoatGhosty on lap 9. So we will see when Goat A decides to pit and B where M. Dorling comes out. We'll keep a close eye on their times. But M&D Hammer here, Toby, is, as they go wide through turn 4, got to be careful. We don't want to throw this race away just through track limit penalties. SS7 gets a track limit penalty of 3 seconds. If you're new to us, folks, and you wonder why these come about, if you get your 4 wheels over the white lines on the edge of the track 3 times, you will get a 3-second penalty from the race stewards immediately, and these are cumulative. So the next 3 times you do it, you'll get another 3 seconds. So track limit penalties will play a factor at the end of this race. M&D Hammer and GoatGhosty have none, but M&D Hammer is within DRS, Toby, of Goat. Do they go for it?
Well, if the chance arrives, take it.
We don't think M&D Hammer is going to pass up the opportunity for sure. Closing all the time under DRS along the main straight. Right on the rear wing now of the McLaren. Goat will clearly have fresher hard tyres. But this may be playing into M&D Hammer's hands here, Toby, because they will have mediums for the end of this race. And if they could possibly just follow Goat into the pits here.
Yes and no, because as we see, the medium will go off by lap 7, by 7 laps in, which might extend to 10 with the lower fuel load. But also, it's that you've got to have a large enough tyre delta to overtake here by like 3 or 4 laps.
It's a real battle of wills here, I think, between these two drivers. We've obviously got a close eye on M. Dorling and their lap times. We'll take a look at those in a moment. And M. Dorling's put a couple of laps on those hards to see how much quicker they are going. Last lap from Goat was a 118.2. For M&D Hammer, it was a 117.6. So these hard tyres, certainly the quicker tyre at this stage in the race. Emeleki has got ahead of SS7 up into 4th. Here goes M&D Hammer through on the McLaren, and Pankadlek is looking to go with them here. Pankadlek right on the rear end of GoatGhosty, and Goat starting to lose positions here. They can't leave this much longer, Toby, can they?
They can try and build a tyre delta on the hard, because we know the medium will go off. But I think it might cost them too much.
So we're getting a sense of what these brand new hard tyres can do, because Jakub has just set the fastest lap of the race after pitting onto brand new hards, a 116.858 for Jakub on their first flying lap on those new hards. M. Dorling was the other driver to pit. They did a 117 dead. So that's pretty much the same pace actually that M&D Hammer is doing right now. So M&D Hammer hanging on to those hard tyres very well as Pankadlek goes very, very wide out of turn 11 there. So, but M&D Hammer's got some real pace here. They seem to be liking this Hungaro ring. Pankadlek, remember, with that 3-second penalty, so Goat doesn't need to fight them, but they don't really want to lose the DRS from these cars because it's helping to drag them along. Let's ride on board of Pankadlek as they go through on the inside of GoatGhosty, and we have a yellow flag. We have a yellow flag, or briefly there in Sector 3 on the main pit straight. That passed very, very quickly. So Pankadlek is through on Goat and is going with M&D Hammer. So M. Dorling, I think, Toby, is going to inherit the lead of this race when all of these other drivers pit.
100%.
Oh, and a very wild Williams there of Pankadlek, who managed to catch it. So excellent piece of driving skill from Pankadelek. Held on to that out of turn 4. But maybe these hards starting to go off as well. Pankadelek clearly pushing very, very hard. That, to use a term my previous co-commentator, Rio, very, very squirrely there as they hold on to second place. GoatGhosty not able to take advantage of that, but they do have the DRS. And M&D Hammer Toby's pulled out of the DRS of Pankadelek, so looking to pull away. This is a very strong drive from M&D Hammer.
Yes, definitely. And I don't think it was the tyres giving up. I think it was the dirty air coming through there and just touching the throttle a tad too early.
So GoatGhosty clearly charging up their batteries, so has some decent pace still on those medium tyres. So Pankadelek definitely have got a very twitchy rear end on that Williams. SS7 on the back of Daddy Tonk. Daddy Tonk doing very well in 5th place currently, but has yet to pit. So our drivers yet to pit. We should cover those. M&D Hammer, Pankadelek, GoatGhosty, Emma Leckie and Daddy Tonk. Pankadelek now picks up another 3-second time penalty. That will be 6 for them. We'll take a quick look at penalties. Yeah, 6 seconds for Pankadelek, 3 seconds for Emma Leckie, 3 seconds for SS7. Oh, Toby, that 6 seconds for Pankadelek's really going to hurt at the end of this race.
Yeah, that's 6 seconds now.
Yeah.
So that's going to put him to 3rd. It will still be podium if it ends now, because Emil's also got 3 at the moment and is 10 seconds behind roughly.
Brief look at position changes. So the winners so far, certainly M&D Hammer, Pankadelek, Emma Leckie, Daddy Tonk and SS7, but we haven't factored in their pit stops yet. So we'll come back to look at that before the end of the race. We're lap 15 of 25. This is going by in a flash. M&D Hammer leads the way as we see Pankadelek and GoatGhosty pitting at the same time. What do you reckon, Toby? Is Goat going to go on to softs? They've took these mediums this far. Would they take softs all the way to the end?
Oh, if it is, he'll get driver of the day from me for take it. No, he's going hard.
He's gone hard. He's gone hard.
If he did, he would have got driver of the day for me if he could hold a podium. With taking soft well over 10 laps when the mediums couldn't even last that on high fuel.
So Dorling, I should say, in 4th currently, but they have pitted, is going to inherit the lead of this race when SS7, Emma Leckie and M&D Hammer come in. SS7, Dorling has got so much more stopping power than the Mercedes in front of them. Those hards really have seen better days. So Dorling now on the back of SS7, doesn't want to be held up too much by the Mercedes driver here, who is really struggling now. Dorling looking down the inside into turn 12. Looks to go through. Now SS7, if they were thinking of pitting, does need to tuck back in behind the Aston Martin. As SS7 go in, SS7 does go in on lap 16. That takes Jakub through. Emma Leckie and M&D Hammer have yet to pit, so they're hanging on to those hards as long as they possibly can. M&D Hammer's last lap was a 1:18 dead. Jakub's last lap, and Dorling's last lap was a 1:17.3 for Jakub. Wow, so Jakub is going, oh, and Dorling is in the wall. As I was looking at the timing screen, Toby, I don't know if you had a better view of that than me. I was looking down at my timing screen. Dorling into the wall. Did you see how that happened?
I'm seeing it now. It's very light tap with Jakub coming into turn 2 or 3 just after the second DRS. It just got tapped in the side pod. Very tight race, and he got squeezed, and then he lost the rear.
So that's
no damage to the front wing.
Okay, a couple of taps we've seen from Jakub today. I dare say we'll hear a touch more about that after the race. So GoatGhosty is back out now in 5th place, half a second behind Pankadelek. Remember, Pankadelek on brand new medium tyres, looking to take those to the end of the race. GoatGhosty did not take the soft tyre gamble. A safety car right now, Toby, would be interesting.
Yeah, that would help. Hammer, Emil would also help all the medium runners now. Yes, it might cost him, but it will allow them to eat those mediums out and might also help the older hard lap, like the middle-aged hard tyres. They might be able to swap into mediums again.
I think that's what Emileki's holding out for. 16 laps in on those hard tyres, but his first on track. They have yet to pit, and they have a 3-second time penalty. So they may as well just stick it out there for as long as they can. I can see Emeleki taking soft tyres to the very end of this race, and they may as well go with the safety car gamble. While we were talking there, Pankelek set the fastest lap of 1:16.224. So Pankelek on those medium tyres, very quick, but remember has a 6-second time penalty. And GoatGhosty, who we are with right now, is on the rear end of Pankelek, and we'll go to the end of this race on those hards. M&D Hammer has switched on to mediums. They are closing in on GoatGhosty, and it's got very, very tight at the front here, Toby. Emeleki Jakub Emeleki does not go in, so Jakub trying to find a way through on the Red Bull, and this could be very interesting going into turn 1. Emeleki trying to break the toe from the cars behind them. Looks as though we might go 4 wide into the turn. Jakub going around the outside. GoatGhosty, and Emeleki taps the rear wheel of Goat, spins the Red Bull around. That's moved Goat back into the lead of this race. Jakub with them. Then comes Pankelek with their 6-second time penalty. We still have a yellow flag in sector 1. Emeleki has not got going, or they are back underway. That yellow flag has cleared, so drops Emeleki all the way down into 7th. That gamble's not paid off, Toby, for Emeleki.
No, he was trying to hold out for track position, and also try and... The undercut, like I said, will be very powerful. And as proven here, with Goat 3 laps and Jakub at 8 laps old.
So Goat is back in the lead on very new hard tyres. Jakub trying to go with them, but is under pressure from the fast charging Pankelek. They have got to get through, given that time penalty, to try and get as far up and ahead as they possibly can. Jakub's also now dropped out of DRS. So as Goat sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:16.158, and Pankelek goes through on Jakub. And M&D Hammer trying to do the same thing, goes around the outside of the Mercedes. We'll have the inside for turn 2 as we come down the hill. The Red Bull is through. So good driving there from Pankelek and M&D Hammer. Toby, has M&D Hammer got the pace to get onto the rear of GoatGhosty and maybe win this race?
He's on his favourite tyre that he qualified really highly on. So, hopefully.
A 1:16.741 for M&D Hammer that last lap around, compared to Goat's fastest lap of a 1:16.158. So GoatGhosty half a second faster than M&D Hammer at the moment. Pankelek also going very, very well, and into DRS on GoatGhosty. So this is not over. Jakub there in 4th as well. Virtual safety car on lap 19 is for... I wonder if we can see what that was for. I'm going to look down the grid here, see if we can find anyone who might...
It's for Emil. It's for Emil.
And Emil there with no front wing. So, and just as they've come out of the pits, Toby, on some brand new medium tyres, that's the last thing they wanted.
Yes and no. Now that they're the VSE, he can definitely take the softs.
Indeed, Pankelek has done exactly that. So Pankelek is in and onto the soft tyres. They are not going to bunch up because this is not a full safety car. So everyone will drive to a Delta. Daddy Tonk also taking the opportunity to pit. Why not, given their position in the race? We're with Emeleki as they guide this stricken Red Bull back round to the pits, and we'll look for a new nose cone and a set of soft tyres. So Emeleki coming in now. Daddy Tonk is in onto brand new mediums, it would seem. Yep, brand new mediums for Daddy Tonk. SS7 has stayed out. Pankelek has switched onto brand new softs. Man, Toby, Pankelek's going to be quick, but they've got a long way to go with just 5 laps remaining. Oh, and a drive-through penalty for Pankelek for speeding under the safety car, or the VSC. So it's all gone from bad to worse, Toby, for Pankadelek. I wonder if I've lost Toby in all of that.
No, I can barely hear you. Sound like a robot in my ear.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so maybe our Discord link is breaking up a little bit. So, running order on as GoatGhosty is...
Give me 1 minute and I'll come back.
Yeah, no worries. GoatGhosty leads on lap 21 as we go back under green flag racing. M&D Hammer has dropped back a little bit in that VSC, so GoatGhosty really taking advantage of that VSC, open up a little bit of a gap to M&D Hammer. They were all within DRS at the time the VSC came out, so Goat judged their deltas absolutely spot on. So M&D Hammer will have to work hard once again, but that VSC would have given a little bit more life back to those medium tyres. Jakub in 11 laps old, I should say, on those hard tyres.
No,
Jakub's a little bit older than that. Dorling there in fourth, due to that spin in turn 2, I think it was. Possibly coming together with Jakub has dropped them back into fourth. Their teammate Obo here in fifth. Pankadelek having switched on to brand new soft tyres, but let's bring up the penalties one more time because they will play a factor. Pankadelek with a drive-through, 3 plus 6 seconds as well, which will reappear once they've served that drive-through. Obo with 3 seconds, SS7 with 3 seconds, Daddy Tonk with 3, and Emeleki now with 6, but back out again having served, been in to replace that front wing and onto
what
new
did
set of tyres.
Pankadelek get a drive-through for?
Speeding under the VSC, sadly, but they have set sorry, go on.
Sorry, I thought you said pit lane. I'm about to say that's normally 5 seconds, not a drive-through.
Yeah, it was under the VSC, so they just misjudged their delta. So that's hurt them massively because they've yet to serve that as well, which they'll need to do within 3 laps. So they will have to go through, again, perhaps waiting. I don't think you could even serve it under a safety car. So they probably need to get in and serve that. SS7 there in 7th, Daddy Tonk in 8th, and Emeleki in 9th. Keeping my eye on M&D Hammer to see if they close down on Goat, but Toby, M&D Hammer doesn't seem to be closing down GoatGhosty on those mediums.
Yeah, well, if you look at the previous lap times, that'll tell you, because I don't have that up at the moment, if you could.
So 116.2 for M&D Hammer last time around on their last lap, a 116.6 for Goat. So M&D Hammer was going quicker, but they seem to be dropping back. Indeed, they lost 4 tenths on that last lap. Yeah, so starting to drift back, M&D Hammer. Maybe Jakub can come through. Dorling 7 and a bit seconds back, I dare say, carrying perhaps a touch of damage, maybe. Nothing visible on screen. We've got another yellow flag, and that's Pankadelek. We have lost Pankadelek, so they have DNF'd, and I think in the pit lane, actually. So Pankadelek's called it a day in the pit lane, maybe, or unless they're just driving through the start-finish.
That is unfortunate. He's retired.
Yeah, no more Pankadelek. So it was going all backwards for Pankadelek, sadly for them. That's going to promote Daddy Tonk into 7th and Emeleki up into 8th place as they pass the stricken Williams. Jakub is closing in on M&D Hammer gradually. So as we saw in the first stint, these mediums do not hang on very long. So those mediums starting to lose some pace. Jakub gradually closing in, but also those hards are pretty old at this point as well. See a lot of our medium runners struggling here. Emeleki switching on to the softs. And Toby, it probably doesn't hurt Emeleki to do that at this point. They might as well go for fastest lap.
Yeah, it'll give them 8 out of 4 points. It'll give them 5 points in total.
So Jakub doing their best to try and get a little bit closer to M&D Hammer. That gap down to 1.5 seconds as they come through turn 2. Drifting out again, so that grip really starting to drift away. Goat, though, out in front once again. Another incredible drive from the McLaren racer. Looking very, very strong in these early stages of Season 4. They are certainly the one to beat, no doubt. M&D Hammer currently running in 2nd and now looking to hold Jakub at bay. Jakub pretty much sticking at 1.5 seconds back from the Red Bull. Then comes Dorling, followed by their teammate Obo for Aston Martin. Was looking very promising, Toby, for the Astons, but I think they've had a bit of bad luck here, I'd say, in this race. They've just had a couple of events that probably just gone against them.
There's been many bad lucks gone around here this race.
SS7 here SS7 here in 6th. Daddy Tonk doing pretty well here in 7th. There'll be some more points for them and the Ferrari team. And Emelecki is going for that fastest lap as we start the final lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix, the feature race here with the G-Force Racing League. Emelecki will look to be ghosting briefly there, so I wonder if they've got some connectivity issues. We're looking at their times as they see if they are going to go for the fastest lap. Maybe some connectivity issues for us, I wonder. So Emelecki trying to steal that fastest lap. Currently held by Pankelek, but Pankelek has DNF'd. Let's get up to the front because GoatGhosty is coming around the final corners here at the Hungaro ring on what has been another fantastic round for them. Victorious in the sprint race. And GoatGhosty is going to come over the line to win in Hungary. 2 for 2 for GoatGhosty in Hungary. M&D Hammer, excellent drive from them. Another second place for them. Jakub takes 3rd. They're our podium finishers. Dorling comes over the line to finish in 4th, followed by their teammate Obo in 5th. Then a little bit further back from them, SS7 comes over to finish in 6th. We get to Daddy Tonk, who is going to come round the final corner here for I think which will be their highest finish. A pretty successful day for Daddy Tonk, finishing in 7th. So I wonder if Emelecki did actually leave us, or would have been a lap down, Toby, I guess. So that fast lap probably wouldn't count.
No, it would, as long as you finish in the points that count.
I don't think they set the fastest lap though, so I don't think they're going to take that extra point. We'll see when the final boards come up. Drivers come onto the podium. Toby, your driver of the day.
Ooh. I would have to say Goat because he timed the strategy right. He fought back from very far back in the field as well.
I'm going to agree with you. It's got to be Goat. 2 victories here and managed those medium tyres incredibly well, and that we can see from the final results here. We just get the points finishing here, folks. So GoatGhosty in first picks up maximum points, except they don't get the fastest lap. So I think that's either gone to Emelecki or to Pankelek here today. M&D Hammer, very strong drive from them. Second in both races, 25 points they take away from Hungary. Jakub finished in 3rd overall, Dorling in 4th overall, SS7 in 5th overall, Obo in 6th, Pankelek in 7th, Emelecki in 8th, and Daddy Tonk. Oh, everyone picks up points today, it would seem. So very good result for Daddy Tonk also there today. So that is the end of the round here in Hungary. Let's go back to our little chat room, and we were talking about driver standings before we went into the race. So GoatGhosty is going to stretch out their lead in season 4 here from Desaves and indeed from Pankelek. I can see Obo moving up with their point scoring today. M&D Hammer most certainly will. Dorling got some decent points there today. I suspect there's going to be a little bit of chat, Toby, about some events out on track today. I think the FIA may be a little bit busy tomorrow.
Who knows? I hope it's not.
keep an eye on the tickets. That's what I'm going to say.
No, I don't. I think we're going to get about 10,000.
Indeed. There is a chat already happening in the general VC, so I dare say a few of our drivers getting together just to talk through some of the events from those 2 rounds. But certainly GoatGhosty is going to maintain their lead at the front of the driver standings for season 4, but they certainly haven't had it their own way, and if M&D Hammer can keep up their pace in recent weeks, they're going to be one to look out for. What's that likely to do to the constructors' standings? Well, inevitably McLaren did well today, but Mercedes got some decent points, as did Aston Martin, as well as Red Bull. So we'll see what that does overall when we come back next week. And let's let you know where we are going to be next time around. So next week we move from Europe out to the Middle East. We go out to Qatar, scene of the most recent real world race for F1. We're going to be there next week.
That was a chaotic one.
Yeah, it was a bit. And David T is with us in the Twitch chat. Hope you've been watching along, David. Good to have you here. Stupid work, I know. You've got to pay the bills somehow, my friend. But great you could watch along with us today. David, let me ask you, are you going to be racing in Qatar? Let us know. Or unless you're going to keep it a surprise, well, say nothing. Qatar, a favourite track of David, so maybe we'll see them out next week in Qatar. Expect a bigger grid next week. Toby, are you going to be racing in Qatar?
If I'm here on time.
Okay. Well, no sprint next week, so we'll be live about 7:45. Racing will begin at 8 p.m. UK time next week, and we'll see. Will it be another victory for GoatGhosty? Maybe it's a track that M&D Hammer likes. We know that they've been quick in recent weeks. Dorling had some pace today. Obo's had some pace in recent weeks. I wouldn't count them out. SS7 strong round. Qatar as well. We'll see what Dorling's GFR Digest has to say next week. I can't promise to do that every week, but I'm going to try and do that for Matt. If he keeps writing the insights, I'll try and do Dorling's GFR Digest every week for you folks. And we might call it something else. I'm going to have to ask Dorling if he likes it. David's let us know it's unlikely to make Qatar, but possibly Singapore. We do look forward to seeing you out on track at some point, David. No, Singapore was a tough one in Ironman, I remember. I think we all struggled to get around that with all our cars in one piece. And actually speaking,
after Singapore.
Okay. And actually, that reminds me, Sundays. Now, normally, in the past, we've done Ironman on a Sunday. I know there's a hope that Ironman will return, but in the meantime we do have Sunday friendlies with the GFR folks. So if you've enjoyed watching us today but would like to actually get involved, maybe you can't race on a Wednesday but would like to race at some point with these folks, we do have the Sunday friendlies. They occur every Sunday around about 8 p.m. They're usually hosted by either Dorling or by Jakub. You can get to race alongside all of the GFR drivers that are available on a Sunday, and me and Toby, and we just have a bit of fun around some random tracks, usually with some randoms joining us in the lobby as well. It's a lot of fun. I know Dorling and Jakub have some plans. And Daddy Tong also mentioning in the Twitch chat, Sunday friendlies are awesome. They're a lot of fun. We don't take it seriously. Well, I try to, but
depends on who you ask. I might try and do this week, depending on how I feel.
I'm so desperate to try and beat these guys too, but eventually I'm going to do enough practice that I might be close enough, but we'll see. It's a lot of fun though.
No view.
So if you would like to get involved with GFR, even if you don't want to do the racing but like to get involved with the FIA, with the commentary, with some PR, some media activities, we'd love to hear from you. There are a handful of driver seats available, not many now. So if you'd like to get involved, head over to the Discord server. There is a link on my Twitch channel and on my YouTube channel. Head over there, say hi, sign up, grab a seat, join the commentary crew, come and be here with me and Toby on a Wednesday. Get involved in the Sunday friendlies. It's a really welcoming crowd. You'll have a lot of fun. and you get to involve on the racing that you see here on a Wednesday night. All right, well, all I want to do as we close out here, I've spotted David, only DNF in GFR was in Singapore. That's very true. Very, very true. Okay, so we're going to leave you there. Toby, thanks ever so much for stopping by. Don't come and join me here in the commentary next week. Get out there on track. We'll commentate on you on track. But have you enjoyed yourself today?
Yeah. Quite nice coming back and seeing this one.
Very good to have you back. It's been great to thank you to all our drivers for giving us some fantastic racing, as always. And Daddy Tonk says, shame I'm better on Sundays more than when it matters. Yeah, now keep that. It's coming, Daddy Tonk. Those points are coming on the board, and you're ending up further and further up that grid. So keep going. It will come. It will come. I'm sure of it. All right. It only leaves me to say thank you to all of you for watching us here on M1 Racing and enjoying the G-Force Racing League. We do it for you, and we do it because we love it. Thanks for being with us on a Wednesday. Come and join us next Wednesday for the next round of G-Force Racing from the Losail track in Qatar. Until then, stay safe, have a great week ahead, and we'll speak to you very, very soon. Bye for now.